Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hash It Out Show. I am your host, JB, your sports guy. Thank y'all for tuning in. We got a great show on task for y'all tonight. I'm joined by my co-host that you can catch on CrescentCitySports.com, the one, the only, VK Jones. VK, what's going on?
See, you had me at the right spot, but you switched it this time because you know that used to be my spot, the number one spot, right? But you had to put me down at 3 again. But
That,
it's
that
all
was
good.
many years ago, sir. Many years ago.
Nah, this your show, man. There ain't no takeovers. You know what I'm saying? But it's good to be here. Like, tag, share, and subscribe to JB Sports Guy, Vashawn K. Jones on YouTube, Facebook Live. We're on live every Tuesday and Wednesday night right here on YouTube Live and Facebook Live. And hey, we got a good one here tonight talking good sports. We got a good guest here tonight joining us that's from the local area of New Orleans. So, Jared, let's introduce tonight's guest.
Thank you, sir. Joining us, he is an offensive analyst with the Virginia Cavaliers football team. And, do we got a surprise guest? Do we have a surprise guest?
Hey, what's going on?
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
Look at this.
Hey,
Wow.
look, for that double duty, double practice. The little one had basketball and baseball practice tonight. So,
Oh,
Wow.
man. Well, VK, I got to redo my introduction now.
Well, redo it again.
Here we go.
There we go.
So, ladies and gentlemen, our guest, one is an offensive analyst for the Virginia Cavaliers football team. The other is the wide receivers coach for the LSU Tigers. They are brothers. So we have Cordae and Cortez Hankton. Fellas, thank you for joining us on the show. How y'all doing?
Absolutely. Doing well, man. How you guys making out?
We're good.
We are doing great.
We're good, man. Cordae, you ought to feel better. Cortez, I'm really surprised. Thank you so much for coming. We thought at first that kind of difficulties with the schedule, but
man, look,
thank you so much.
If you recall, this was one of the first shows we did together. Matter of fact, the only show.
That's right.
What dude was that? Like 10 years, 11 years
2012,
ago?
2013, right in between championships 1 and 2.
Wow, exactly. Sure was.
10 years, man. 10 years.
Yeah.
10 years ago, there was on the
Loyola.
BK Jones show at Loyola when we had the show at Quest City Radio, and we had him on, and it's good to have you guys on. It's amazing what has happened 10 years after the time that y'all two and Cortez, you've been in the trenches. Cordae, you were just starting to dig into the assistant coaching range up in New Orleans, and now it's amazing how you shocked everybody after you was a defense coordinator at Eric, and then all of a sudden you decided to go to your brother's route to the college level.
That's right. And we started around the same time. It was actually kind of weird because we both started without even really kind of telling each other about it. Cortez had this NFL career, and that thing was wrapping up, and it was time to go to another direction. I know he had started, another degree, and then as former players and guys who have been around the sport since 3, 4, 5 years old, and you feel like you need to look for a different route, but at the end of the day, this is what we were born for, honestly.
Yeah, and I think ultimately, man, what it came down to, we both were able to find our passion or follow our passion. And when you look at it, and like he said, we were thinking about other career transitions. He was coming off being a police officer for a while, and myself, I was trying to transition out of the game. And it's something about this game of football and the grind, the sweat, the tears, the blood, everything that we put into it. And you fall in love with the process. And as a result of the hard work, you're able to come out with victories, man. And so, it was a blessing for me to see him win his first championship in high school as a coach. I was sitting in the Superdome, because at the time I was coaching the Ivy League. So our season ended a little bit earlier. And to be on this journey together has been a blessing, because we although I'm 7 years older, I still feel like he's a lot closer in age because of the maturity that he has and just everything that he brings in life. I always tell my everybody that my brother is probably the most extroverted person. He's like the damn mayor of the city, New Orleans, man, because he knows everybody. And so like anytime anybody asks me a question, I'm like, man, just ask my brother. I'm sure he knows it.
VK, I'll let you get back to this VK Jones memory reunion show you had just for a second. All right.
Yeah, my bad. I'm sorry. We just kind of rambling a little bit, man.
Oh,
Hey, that's what happens when you're around good people.
Yes, sir.
There's a comfort level that develops, and you're able to converse and just keep it rolling, man.
Oh, without a doubt, Coach Hankton. I got to mess with my man VK because me doing this show is it gave me motivation when I used to be on the VK Jones show as a co-host. So without VK, I'm not doing this job right here. So a lot of thanks and praise go to VK, for me starting this show. But Coach Cordae Hankton, I want to ask you this question. You were a police officer for 4 years with the New Orleans Police Department. What made you want to be a cop, and how was it?
Well, growing up, probably everyone in my family could tell you I've always wanted to be an FBI agent. That was my only goal in my career. Both my parents were police officers, and we were taught to be the best at every single thing in the world. Like if we're playing pickleball, if we're playing cornhole, we are the best, and that's how we're going to play the game. So to be a police officer, the highest level is an FBI agent. So I planned my life. I went to school for criminal justice. I thought about all the steps that I needed to make, and I had a tragic incident that actually, all people always say it turned my life. It just put me in a direction that I was really supposed to be going in. We go on this journey not knowing, but everything's already destined to what it's supposed to be. And, I talk about my experience as a police officer in New Orleans, and people are like, oh, that had to be rough. And if you really, really think about it, it's not. New Orleans is a people place. The relationships are everything. So just like coaching, if you cultivate these relationships in the community, you don't have issues. You don't have and then I might get a little gripe for this, but there's not as much police brutality as it is around the world in New Orleans. Because quite honestly, you live 2 blocks from the criminal you arrested 2 weeks ago. So if you don't treat them right, they'll see you in Rouse's. They'll see you at City Park, tag Gormley football game. So every time I never had to live in the aspect of looking over my shoulder because I treated people with respect. If I had somebody in a situation where they were doing something they weren't supposed to, and they knew, and we had the conversation, and there's been instances that guys have come up to me and was like, man, you really helped me change my life, even though you arrested me, right? Because at the end of the day, everything you deal with, everything you experience, there's a lesson behind it. So if you go in this thing and you iron chest Charlie, and you poking your chest out and you mistreating people, at the end of the day, it's going to always resurface itself in a different way. So I enjoyed being a cop. I literally had fun. I enjoyed, protecting and serving our people. That literally was the calling, protecting and serving our people, right? And sometimes it took it to another level. You had to chase guys and do whatever else you needed to do. But for the most part, man, I really, really enjoyed my time. I never had any aspirations of being a coach, period. They used to call me coach at Harrell when I was a kid because I was too young and I would run around on the field and try to take over the game. But I never in my life wanted to be a coach. And, I think my high school coach, Coach Jay Ross, for kind of changing the trajectory of my career path.
So
Coach,
I'm sorry. I just wanted to follow up with Cordae on that question you asked. With the experience of your parents working within the NOPD for a long time as well, was it more of a relief for them knowing that, okay, there was a wake-up call in your life and you felt like, hey, I think I'm going to get out of being in the force and go on a route of coaching? Well,
to be honest with you, if you know my family and you know me, I'm going to do what I want to do. Like, whatever I choose, my people are going to support it because they know I've thought about it already. And once I decide to do it, I'm all in and I'm giving everything I got in it. But the good thing, like, my parents let me be a cop, right? Meaning, like, they had their jobs. They never interfered. They never were making calls to try to get me these cush jobs or anything like that. You know, my dad's a well-respected officer in the department. So is my mom. My dad is on year, I believe, 31 now, right? So
Wow.
I never had any type of, I probably did, but it never was any type of preferential treatment. And that rolls into now. Like, my brother is arguably, and they talk about other people, but to me, he the best receiver coach in the country. And, you know, people are like, oh, your brother. But I said, no, like, my whole job, my whole objective is create my own path. And that was, and, you know, people see it as a coach because it's on a bigger stage and people can actually see what's going on. But this started in 2009 when I was a police officer. And I walk into the police academy and people are like, oh, you good. And let me tell you, it probably was harder for me in a police academy than the rest of the people. And I was cool with that because I expected it. I knew that, okay, they're going, you know, you never know what type of relationship a guy has with your parents. Do they like them? Do they dislike them? Or are they going to be even harder on you because they do know who they are? And that was good because it creates character. Any type of adversity creates character to get you where you need to be and getting it done the right way.
Coach Cortez, after your playing career, did you have any aspirations of going straight into coaching, or was there something else that you wanted to do?
Well, you had to rewind a little bit, you know, before I would say that transition happened, because if you'd asked me 2 years before my playing career was over, I would have told you I'd never be coaching. You know, my thought was these dudes spend too much time in the office. They're up at damn 5 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes they don't leave the office till 11, midnight. And I just felt like that was too long to be doing anything in your damn life. But what happens is, man, things happen in your life for reasons. And I happened to be training in Orlando in the off season, and a high school coach asked me to come and volunteer in the spring. Dr. Phillips, which is a prominent high school in Orlando, you know, I go over there in spring football and had an opportunity to coach the White House, man. I fell in love with it. That was 2010, right? And so that's when I first got like that coaching itch. And what I realized, man, football was bigger than just the coaching and X and O's, but it allowed you to use it as a platform to develop young men. And a lot like Cordae said, when you have the ability to cultivate relationships, the guys that you coach, they're going to play their hearts out. They're going to run through a wall for you. And so there was gratification in that. And I think ultimately that's what allowed me to transition into this profession.
I want to ask y'all both this question. Coach Cordae, you can answer it first. Both of you college coaches, as you know, pretty much everybody who plays college football wants a shot in the NFL, but it doesn't happen. How important is it for you to see that the guys you coach are successful after football?
It's actually extremely rewarding. You know, I get guys come on official visit. They tell me their favorite receiver is Jamar Chase, and I was like, yeah, I coached that guy. And they was like, yeah, no, you didn't. And I show them pictures, and he FaceTime me, and they're like, there's no way you really coached this guy. But one of the better experiences is the guys that you guys don't even know about. You know, I got guys who have gotten in the coaching profession. I got 3 of my young bucks coaching at De La Salle. One's the defensive coordinator, one's the safeties coach, one's a linebacker coach, and I am happier about that than watching Jamar playing the Super Bowl. Now, I'm still happy about that, but these guys are calling me, asking me about scheme, and that, like, is so exciting because I knew how they felt about coaches then. You know, because, you know, I coach hard. I coach with love. I coach with passion. I coach with intensity. But those guys, you know, when you're 18 years old, 17, 16, your parents are yelling and screaming at you. You don't really hear it until later, right? And they actually would, and to know that they actually would listen to the things that I say and listening to the lessons I was trying to, instill in them is super rewarding, man. And another instance is Christian Fulton. Christian gave me a call before before the year he decided to leave, whereas last year. And, he had just had a foot injury, and he asked me about it. What do I think? And for me, the one thing that kept going in my head was, Chris, you're 12 hours from getting your college degree, right? You're going to go and have a great season, right? You're going to go and have a degree, because the NFL stands for not for long. It's going to always end, always. Like, no matter what, the game going to stop loving you at some point. So what do you have? People use the analogy, if you got a football, right? You got a book. You stand on a football, that ball going to go like this, right? You stand on the book, you got a solid ground. You can stand on books. You can't stand on this game. You can't. You got to have some more substance to you. And for him to go back and get his degree and then get drafted in the second round, and now is a successful business owner with a great clothing line in the Nashville area, that is the other side of success, right? People see the NFL, and yeah, it's great, man. It's great. But there's only a few Tom Brady's that played 20 years in the NFL, if any more, right? The average life expectancy, I think now is maybe 3 and 3. 3 years, 3 games. These guys get out of college at 20, 21 years old. So at 24, their career is done, some of them. So from 24, the average life expectancy, I think, is 68 now. So what are you going to do for those 44 more years of living, right? You got 3/4 more of your life to go. So if you shoot your load in the first quarter, and now the second, third, and fourth quarter, you're on the sideline, great. You just went for 80 in the first quarter, but now you have nothing to show for it second, third, and fourth. So those guys getting their education and follow career path and, becoming professionals, insurance company guys, law enforcement, dentists, everything. And that's what's really, really rewarding for me, because at the end of the day, I started this profession to help build young men into men. And to see them becoming men is super exciting for me.
Coach Cortez?
It was interesting. I was having a conversation with a guy, Ryan Clark, the other day, and he made a really interesting point, man. And for the longest, we've always heard plan B when you're playing a game of football.
Right.
And he said, well, there shouldn't be a plan A. It shouldn't be a plan B. Your plan should be to go to college to be the best possible student that you can be.
Yes.
And then when you touch the grass, your objective should be the best football player that you could possibly be. And at the end of the day, if you do that in your process, everything else is going to take care of itself. And it made a lot of sense to me, man, because this is the first time I actually heard it like that. And the conversation that you have with these guys, you always want to prepare them for two things. You want to prepare them for the best case scenario, but you also have to prepare them for the worst case scenario. That's a part of our responsibility as coaches, right? Even when you go in a game plan, it's the same thing. But when you're talking about this game of life, it doesn't always work out the way that you wanted to or that you hope to. And so, for our guys, we just need to make sure that they utilize the resources that are available to help them in more ways than one. Let's call it what it is. Like, people in this world love college football players. And they love the game of college football. And so they have to use that. They have to use that to essentially put themselves in a position to catapult into the transition out of the game. And so those are daily conversations. It's conversations about life. It's conversations about transitions. Ultimately, it's conversations about making sure they go out and perform to the best of their ability in every arena that they compete in. And that's including the classroom.
Wow. And shout out to the when you mentioned about Christian Fulton, also his brother Keith, both also West Bankers in itself, who really came across and helped the Raiders get them a state championship and all that stuff and doing successful things. So real big shout out to those guys. Jared, I'm wondering why you're laughing, but I understand.
Hey man,
why.
you can't let him rub that in your face, man. He did that intentionally.
well, we all know later. We all know why, because but it is what it is. Sometimes we all win. We all win at some point. But regardless of the fact, I just wanted to follow up the question what Jared was talking about with the coaching and stuff. Me and Jared had an interesting kind of discussion off air, talking about the process about recruiting, the process of recruiting and stuff like that, how certain players are ranked like 2, 3, 4 stars and whatever. Give us y'all opinions a little bit about the process and how players are ranked sometimes, because sometimes people need to get an understanding a bit, because some people thinking, well, why are you saying that he's a 4-star, but I'm saying he's not a 4-star, but he is to me. But then
Man,
all of a sudden when you speak,
I'm sorry. Let me just cut you off before we go any further. Here's what I
go
believe.
ahead.
Like, you really could take them stars and them rankings and you can wipe your. I'm not going to even finish it because
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, Coach.
Because
Yes.
here's what you need to understand. As a coach, you should not be looking at rankings to decide if you want to recruit a kid. You have to trust your eyes and your own evaluation, and also your ability to develop talent in terms of getting the play that you want on the football field. And so, look, the physical skill set is one thing, but we also got to talk about the redeeming qualities that make a player who he is. When you talk about discipline, commitment, hard work, the ability to be coachable, all of those things really, like, those are the things that help catapult a young man from one level to the next. So when you're talking about the process, it encompasses all the things that we're talking about as a young man from a holistic standpoint, outside just his physical skill set. Because I guarantee you, a ranking can't tell you, man, is he coachable, right? Does he come to the field every day ready to work? Rankings are not going to tell you that. It is based purely on a young man's physical skill set. And as coaches, man, it's our responsibility to dive deep into it.
Cordae?
So I'm at a new school, and our perspective on it is completely different than anywhere I've ever been, and I absolutely love it. We're in the middle of camp season right now. We don't test 40 times. We don't test broad jump. We don't test high jump. We don't do height and weight. We don't do any of that. Coach Elliott's mindset is measuring a man's heart. You can't really measure it until you're with him, right? You can look like the big bad tough guy and can't move. Then what? And Cortez said it about trusting your eye. If he looked like he could play football, he could play football, right? We have these combine guys, and they come and they run a 4 this and jump a 10 that, and wingspan is a 70 this, and can't play football. At the end of the day, you have to play football. Like, you are going out there and have this pigskin, and you got 53 1/3 yards and 120 of the field total, and you got to go in there, and it can't nobody save you. Them stars don't save you. Them coaches can't save you. That 40 time, that's none of that. So, and then you go back to the history of New Orleans, and you look at a guy like Tyrann Mathieu, who's 160 pounds. And Dave Johnson brought him all the way around everywhere in the country. Nobody wanted to take him. And he's arguably one of the greatest college football players ever. Didn't run a 4.3, wasn't 6'2", 200 pounds, and was an All-American safety. Right? So don't tell me about just because a guy is 6'5", 220, that he could jump out the gym and run. I want to turn on the tape. Right? I don't want to look at his Twitter. Send me the highlight tape. And then after I watch the highlight tape, okay, he caught my eye. Guess what I'm going to watch now? I'm going to watch the game tape, because we talk about his character. So when you're up by 40, are you showboating, or are you still about your business? When you're down by 40, you used to getting 40 carries a game, and now you got a pass pro. So what guy are you? And when we go into the game and we going on the road to see you play and you losing, right? Are you the guy that's pulling the team together? Or are you throwing your helmet on the side? Like, they watch everything. And I know all you guys watch the NFL, and you watch all these cameras, the angles they show, the information. Like, you basically can see what's on the Microsoft Visio deal or the Microsoft tablet on the sideline. So imagine when you're doing things you're not supposed to do, somebody always watching.
I commend y'all on saying that, because I feel the same way by seeing a football player on the field on what they can do. It's a lot of other coaches around the nation and other people that see a player on a piece of paper, 6'2", 215, 4-3, and they're like, oh, great. And then they go look at that guy and offer immediately. And may not be the next big thing in college. You never know. But I commend y'all on that because I think that is the correct way to go, seeing a football player on the field and seeing what they can do on the football field.
And here's the other side to it, right? At the end of the day, how many Tyrann Matthews have you saw in the world?
Right.
Right? Correct?
Yeah.
So
Correct.
the other side of it from a coaching perspective, some of those measurables really matter, right? When it's married with the play on the field, right? Just because you 6'2", 200 pounds doesn't mean you can play. But just because you 5'8", 180 doesn't mean you can't play. Right? So
That's correct.
all of those things, and my brother talked about redeeming qualities. How fast is he? Is he a leader? Grades, jumping out the gym, making guys miss. What is it that when it's 4th and 4, we know that this thing is going to work because it is so much better than everybody else on the field?
And I think character is more important than anything else in all qualities. And you guys really hit it on the mark. I think that's more important. Like, you got to know how to play. That's the most important thing to me. But to me, character is more important because the thing is, can you handle it when the game is on the line? And then on top of that, how can you maintain yourself when adversity is in your face? Can you get yourself together? Can you get right back up and understand that game is still on the line? So get up and do what you have to do your best. Because I love it when I see a player give it everything they got in a playoff game, championship game, or even a regular season game when it was so unbelievable, and all of a sudden tears come out their face, and it just shows that's a lot of great character you got because you gave it all you had on the field to the end.
That's right. And you know, my new plays coach Elliott, who's a tremendous person and coach, you know, did all his great years at Clemson, Broyles Award winner in 2018, I believe, two national championship, went to 2 more, you know, and he always talk about the heart. Our program is based on it, right? Humbleness, effort, accountability, respect, and toughness, right? And he lives it every day, and he instills it in us every day. So guess what? We want those type of people in our building. Once again, I said I've never been a part of the type of system or the way we do it here because the fit is so much more important. We got guys who are quote unquote 4 and 5 stars that want to come to our school, but they don't have the grades. This is the number 3 public institution in the country.
Wow.
The degree from the University of Virginia gets you in any door, right? So yes, he's a great player. I have a relationship with his dad, but if he's got a 2.1, he can't come to school here.
So pretty much, like Virginia is starting to be as big as LSU. So either way, you get a degree out of either of those schools, you good either way down the line if you're playing football or not. You know, the degree means a whole lot, especially for those institutions.
And not only the degree, I think the big part is we continue to talk about this R word, relationships, right? So if you just go to class and you get your degree and you never cultivated relationships, you never do internships, they really don't mean anything, to be honest with you. You got to go do the internships. You got to go meet with your mentor that all these things are set up for. But if you never do that, you never get out of your shell, because guess what? All I came to do here was be a football player. You know, we don't have student athletes. We're scholar athletes here, right? And we are excellent students. That's the objective. You know, the bare minimum is not enough.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and ask this more than anything else to Cordae. Since you're now at Virginia and everything else, you know, you've been really working hard and everything else. It's a 2-part question. One, what are your thoughts of being in Virginia? You're in your 4th job. You've been really working your way through. And also tell us about your head coach, a big coach, Coach Scott. And it seemed like he's been working hard to get this position, but at the same time, he's going to be a little bit of a little pressure for him because of the fact this is the 2nd African-American coach that's leading the University of Virginia.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. Virginia's great. You know, you're hour from Richmond. You're 2 hours from DC. You're a quick flight to Atlanta. There's 4 flights from Charlottesville to Atlanta every day. and you know that's easy to get to. I can get home whenever I like. But here there's a lot to do, man. There's wineries, there's all of these different hiking trails. There's a lot of stuff to do, right? But you know, this weekend I had the unbelievable opportunity. If anybody knows me, my first love was the sport of baseball, and I had the unbelievable opportunity of going to the Super Regionals and watching those guys beat the Duke Blue Devils on the way to Omaha, and it was super exciting. Lost game one and came back and won both of the two games, and it was great atmosphere. And you know, you brought up expectations, right? And we are super backed by athletic director Dr. Carla Williams, who comes from University of Georgia and Vanderbilt, who's a great basketball player at the University of Georgia herself, and our President Ryan. Everyone is super in line, right? You always hear that. Like, you always hear these buzzwords of alignment and we're on the same page. And I've heard it at all 5 of my previous stops. Never have I felt more aligned with the athletic director and the president, right? I've seen our president and athletic director more in a month and a half than I've seen any of the others that I've been around. That's no knock on anybody else, but that's how important this is to her, right? And Coach Elliott, you know, you guys know he's turned down, I believe, 4 or 5 previous jobs. And what was important to him was being able to build a model program his way, right? With the educational piece being just as important, honestly, more important than the football side, right? Because at the end of the day, once again, we go back to it. You know, these guys got to stand on their degrees, right? So there'll be some good changes, and you know, from the tape I watched of last season to currently this spring tape I watched, I believe that the Cavaliers are going to put a different product on the field to get some games won. And if you look at it, you know, I think it was 6 games lost by 1 score. I think it was 5 games lost by a total of 12 points. So guess what? You tell me 3-7, right? We had the really, really sad tragedy here, canceled the last 2 games. You tell me you lose 5 games by a total of 12 points. That is quickly 8-2. Right? And most people in sports know the most improvement is year 1 to year 2. You know, just like the Tigers are going into year 2, and I expect some improvements from them. Which, you know, it's hard to improve on that, but we all know you can improve.
Coach Cortez, Brian Kelly's going into his 2nd year. Like your brother said, the Tigers did a great job their first year, got to the SEC championship game. Pretty much 2-part question. First part question, what kind of a person is Coach Brian Kelly like? And the second part question, how important have you all done in recruiting by especially keeping a lot of Louisiana kids in the state of Louisiana? Logan Diggs, Colin Billiard just committed today, Wallace Foster, Juwan Johnson, to name a few.
Well, first off, Coach Kelly is an amazing professional, a great guy to work for. You know, he's been a winner everywhere he's went. If you just check his track record in terms of the institutions and the places that he's coached, you know, he's always taken those teams to championships. And, you know, for us, when you step into a building and you realize there's a lot of work to do, and the transition of the growth and the progress that happened over year 1 was tremendous. And a huge kudos to our guys for buying in the way that they did. Now, as you know, when you set standards and expectations like that, you know, the room to gain becomes smaller, but it's a lot harder to get. But when we walk in, you know, when I'm looking at our spring practice, our off-season strength and conditioning program, and we just look like we have a different team. We have a bigger, stronger, faster team. You know, you see a team with more urgency. And those are the things that happens as you transition to year 2, because now everyone understands the standards and expectations. And then when you have new guys coming in, they got guys who can lead them to do it the right way. And in terms of the recruiting piece and just trying to keep guys at home, Louisiana has always had, you know, in terms of the most talent per capita, you know, we're right up there. If not 1 is 2, but we're always going to be up there. And it's important to us not only to get the top guys that are in our state, but also we have to identify the guys who have the room for growth and the potential to be really good college football players. And that leads to the point, again, that it really doesn't matter about the stars. We're not in it to win the recruiting rankings or not. We just want to make sure we find the guys that are the best fit for us. And, when you're dealing with young men from the state of Louisiana, they're gonna play their heart out for this university.
Before I pass it back to VK, Coach Cortez, you won a national championship with the Georgia Bulldogs. What was it that you can take from Georgia that you can bring to LSU as their wide receiver coach?
Well, it's just the most important thing is just the consistent sense of urgency and from day to day, and that even though you have success, even though you may have some success, it's still not enough. And that's the one thing I gained from that place. And Coach Smart, I learned a lot from him, and you can see the good job that they're doing over there, and they just finished defending and got their second national championship. But look, we're trying to create something special in Baton Rouge, and I think that we're in the right direction, and we're going to be real competitive as a team that to be looked at as a national championship contender.
Well, I got to ask you, Cortez, more than anything else. You looking at the experience coming back this year for the LSU Tigers and everything else, especially at the quarterback spot, the receiver spots, and everything else. This is some true expectations coming up for the Tigers. Do you think that Florida State game is going to be a key game to set the tone for you guys?
Well, it's a key game because it's the next game. It's the first game of the season, and so you always want to kick off the season the right way. I do believe that we're going to face an extremely talented team, an experienced team that had a great season last year. Much respect to that staff. One of my great friends and mentor, David Johnson, is on that staff. So, it's interesting that when you look at the way we ended last season, their last game was in the Citrus Bowl, and our last game was the Citrus Bowl, and now we're going to kick off this upcoming season against each other in the Citrus Bowl. So, fate has a way to putting you exactly where you need to be, and we're looking forward to that game.
Last season, the Alabama ball game, how that ended more than anything else. I was one of the few people that predicted last year, and I had the bold prediction that Tennessee was going to beat Bama, which they did. But at the same time, we was hoping the Tigers would get it done, but almost kind of a similar type of thing that what Josh Heupel did and also Brian Kelly did, putting the what's down on the table and said, hey, we're going to go for it. We're trying to win the game now. What are your thoughts on the play in overtime for you guys to get it done against Bama in overtime?
Well, when you have confidence in your plan and confidence in your players, you can make those gutsy calls. And I mean, look, I tell people all the time, I've been a part of a lot of electric games, conference championships, national championship, and that game in Death Valley against, the team out east, it was different. There was nothing like it. And for us to win that game in that manner, you talking about creating a lasting memory and something that our players will remember and be able to tell for the rest of their lives. And once again, to go back to that call, it's all about the preparation. Those are the plays that we practice all the time. Situational football is really key in terms of being successful as a football team. And our guys understand exactly what it means to be in those situations, and they're able to perform under that type of pressure.
Cordae, I gotta ask you this as well. You've been having a lot of experience over the years. You really built your resume. You went from Colorado to Michigan State to Texas to UNC Charlotte, now to Virginia. What did you learn from Coach Mel Tucker and also Coach Steve Sarkisian to continue your coaching journey?
Oh, well, Coach Tuck, I'm forever indebted to him. He gave me my first opportunity coaching college football, and not only did he give me an opportunity to coach football, he invested in me. He wants me to be successful. He poured into me. We go from Colorado to Michigan State, I actually coached the nickel position with him, and then he turned it over to me after week 3, and I literally coached the position myself for, as most of you guys know that really know this game, arguably one of the best defensive back coaches in college football over the last 25 years. And the preparation on his part from, he's a big teacher, right? And he we had three nickels in a room, and he'll tell me, he said, hey, all of these dudes are going to learn differently, so you got to deliver it different ways. I don't care how long it takes you to get it done, but if this guy needs to see it on the board, you need to teach it to him on a board. If this guy needs to see it in a film, you need to teach it to him on a film. If this guy needs a booklet every week, which we made every Monday, you need to give him a booklet and take those still shot pictures. And, what he taught me was it's never enough. You have more in you to keep going, right? And his motto is keep chopping. Like, you're literally going to keep chopping the wood until that tree falls, and then you go knock and chop down another one. And Coach Sark, man, just an unbelievable offensive mind. And to watch him develop a story from the first quarter to the fourth quarter, and from Monday to Friday walkthroughs, and he paints the picture, and he knows what, he wants these guys to see this so he can do it in the fourth quarter for a touchdown. And he come out with these openers and boom, 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 and he know how it's going to play out. And to hear him in practice with the intensity of knowing what's going to happen, how it's going to happen, and then executing it exactly how it happens on Saturday afternoon and Saturday night is a thing to be a part of.
Now, looking at you was at Colorado. Let's go back to Colorado a little bit. What are your thoughts about, there was a player that was over there at the time when you was there, and to me, probably one of the biggest stories, one of the biggest people I ever covered. And I'm telling you, and I'm very proud that he's in the NFL doing what he has to do right now. That's Deion Taylor. What are your thoughts about him? He came from Coahoma Community College, and I was an SID over there, and he was a walk-on over there at Coahoma, and he wrecked shop, wound up going to Colorado, making a huge impact. Now he's in the league playing for the Philadelphia Eagles and really making an impact. What are your thoughts on his progress?
I got to Colorado, and we had this Mississippi boy on a roster. I'm like, man, how did you even get here? Right? I think he's from Magnolia, Mississippi. And if you know that, that's a small place. Right? And you hear it. You hear his Mississippi drawl when he's talking to you, and he wants to go hunt, he wants to go fish. But when I tell you a guy that can flat out run, he was on a track team. He was a 215, 220-pound linebacker / safety that was running 100 meters after the season in the Pac-12 championship. So from an athletic standpoint, just unbelievable. And I think he's really set it into his role as been an exceptional special teams player. And I'm really, really proud of him, man. I think it's going on year 3, maybe 4 for him. And he keeps doing this thing. Everybody likes the guys that's winning the awards, but, I had a cousin that spent about 12 years and played receiver, might have caught one ball his whole career. He was a special teams captain and a complete menace on special teams. And I'm really, really proud of him. But that goes back to it. Guess what? He left Boulder with a college degree. And that I'm really, really proud of that as well.
Now, your experience, also another time in Colorado, and I remember it. Mel Tucker's first year. You go against Nebraska. And to me, maybe one of the craziest college games I've seen in over my years of watching college football. The place is packed, but mostly Nebraska fans. And then it was a good start by Nebraska, but Colorado comes back and makes it a game, and all of a sudden Colorado gets them at the end with the win. And it seemed like you guys, especially Coach Tucker, going nuts on the field, the players going nuts on the field. And do you think that was one of your most crazy game experiences you'll ever see as a coach?
Yes, it was insane. So when I first got there, I wear Jordans, and most of Jordan's shoes are red. So I come in there like day 1 or 2 with some red Jordans on, and I'll never forget the other GA, we shared an office together, Jack Harris, who played at Colorado. He dang near threw me out the office. He's like, man, what you doing? Like, why are you wearing those shoes? And I didn't know, right? But I knew about the Big 8, right? But we're in the Pac-12 now, so we don't even play those guys. And he tells me, he said, you can't wear red in here. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, what do you mean? And he goes to tell me why. And I was like, man, this is serious. And I know we played them game 2 after we played Colorado State in a Mile High. So everybody's talking about this game. And I'm like, man, it can't be that crazy. You know, and my sister-in-law, her family's from Nebraska, and they tell me how they sell out volleyball games with 20,000 people. So, you know, football, they got to love it, right? So Thursday comes, and, you know, I do a little routine. We finish our deal. I go walk through the campus, and I see all of these people with Nebraska shirts, and they tailgating. The game ain't till 12 o'clock on Saturday. And I said, this is crazy. Like, this is really like this. So I drive in, and this is my first real, because when we played Colorado State at Mile High, it wasn't college atmosphere. This is my first real experience of college atmosphere on a college campus, is the Nebraska and Colorado game, right? So this goes back to all of the amazing wars of, you know, Frazier and Rashawn Salam and Darren Hagan and the Vance brothers and all, like, that's that history, right? So I pull in, and we're driving in, beautiful view, driving into the valley, and all you see is red. And I'm like, man, are we in Lincoln, Nebraska, or we in Boulder, Colorado? And I promise you, it was probably 65% Nebraska fans, 35% Colorado fans. Beginning of the game, we getting slaughtered, 17-0 at halftime. And you talk about Coach Tucker's intensity, right? Whatever you saw on the sideline after the game, you could multiply it by about 5 inside of the locker room. And we're losing 17-0. We can't do anything on offense. We can't generate a drive. You know, they scored a few times, short fields, all of this stuff. And when I get in that locker room, I feel like that we were up 17. Coach Tuck talking to us. He was like, guys, we're good. And for him to be, you know, you're only as good as your leader, right? So if he's got this coolness about him and he's ready, but it's intense. He ain't like, guys, we're good. It's intense. We good. Let's go. Let's lock in, and we got it, right? Then we come down. We score 17-7. We got the ball on I talk about this play all the time. Shout out to Coach Jay Johnson, the offensive coordinator at Michigan State now, who was at Colorado. I talk about this all the time. 1st and 10, coming out. I think they punted the ball, rolled out of bounds on the 4-yard line. They played quarters, you know, and Coach Johnson was like, guys, I think we're about to run a flea flicker. And I'm like, what? On a 4-yard line, we're about to run a flea flicker? We run a flea flicker, 96-yard touchdown. The place goes nuts. And at that very point, I was like, all right, it's 17-14. We're going to win this game. But when I really, really, really knew we were going to win the game, we go into overtime. And you know how people say you look on the other side and you see guys defeated? I don't know if you guys ever been to Colorado, but if you're not there for a good amount of time, that altitude is real. What they talk about with the Miami Heat was just struggling on the court, that's real, right? Every time you leave and come back, the first time I got there and walking up these steps, I'm like, hey, man, I know I ain't worked out in about a week, but I ain't this out of shape, right? But you look over and there's 75 men you get to travel with or sitting on a bench with oxygen mask on. I said, so I tell our receiver, LaVisca Chenault and Katie Nixon, I said, Visca, look at that. We about to win the game. And they looked and they now believe that we were going to win the game. You understand what I'm saying? So when you talk about the story of that game, it was it literally was incredible. It was so awesome. But you know, you talk about that game and you talk about the fact of probably my best college coaching experience. I know we lost this game, but the Red River showdown is exceptional. Like, there's not another word you can think about. There's not another experience. I don't know if I can duplicate that from a rivalry game, but to be able to drive into, well, first of all, we fly into Dallas, and you would have thought the President of the United States got there. We had about 200 motorcycles. I've never seen this, not even when they were in the national championship. 200 motorcycle cars driving us, and from the airport to the hotel, there are literally people from both teams aligned along the route. We get there, there's like 200 people in the lobby. Then we get there, we score on the first play of the game. It's the loudest I've ever experienced. And then, we're rolling. I think we're about 18. And then this guy named Caleb Williams coming to game. And boy. I'm like, man, this guy can't be that good, right? If he was that good, he would have been starting over Spencer Rattler. Boy, was I wrong. When I tell you, it looked like everything y'all see, I was like that. I was a part of the first people to watch it happen, right? In October 8th in 2019, 2021. I still got bad memories of that one. I mean, he's spinning around, throwing it down the field. I'm like, he can't be that lucky, but it ain't luck. That dude is a beast. Yes. He don't win the Heisman and could possibly be the first one since Archie Griffin to win it back to back. You don't get to do that and just be no regular cat. He's he's exceptional.
I hate to say it.
Don't be pointing at me.
That man is the number one Spencer Rattler fan in the world. And we had that argument before about Caleb Williams. Like, Caleb Williams ain't all that good. I was like, Caleb Williams.
I did not say that.
I did not say that. But he changed his mind.
I never said that. Hold up. I never said that. Anyway, moving on.
Moving on.
I got two questions, and I'll let VK close out. I'm gonna go with Coach Cortez first. Coach Cortez, your wide receiver group, man, these guys to me are dangerous. I'm expecting big things from your crew. What is it about this group of guys, especially this year, that's gonna make them special?
Well, one, they're ultra competitive. And not just with each other, but themselves. Like they all want to push to be the best. And let me say that, first off, it's a great group of young men, and I love and enjoy coaching them. And once again, it goes beyond football. Like when the guys come to the house, my brother's been over there. He sees the camaraderie, the good time that we just have in each other's company. And I think there's something to that. But also, man, the guys are hungry. They're hungry to be great. They want to dominate whoever's across from them, and it's just a mindset and a mentality. So, just like you expecting some big things out of them, but shoot, I am too.
Me too.
And look,
me too.
And every day I push them to be the best. We're never going to settle. We're never going to be satisfied because there's always more to gain. And we'll take it day by day, but we still got work to do.
Most definitely, Coach Cordae. You coached high school ball for some years. What is your fondest memory of coaching high school football?
Well, I'm probably going to hurt a few people's feelings here, but first of all, winning the last 5A, the real 5A state championship against Barb, who was averaging like 50-something points a game with Trey Quinn and Fontenot, who went on to play baseball at ULL, and Deshaun Smith and all those guys, and we absolutely obliterated them 35-14, and the score didn't really do it any justice. But the big one, man, and I know my brother was at this game. I'm sure VK, you were there, and I'm sure it crushed some of y'all hearts. But the Thanksgiving week game against St. Augustine in 2013 was, man, it was.
Hey, look,
we walked into this game.
I knew he was going there.
And he'll tell you, like, we walked into this game, and it felt like, I kid you not, I'm getting goosebumps talking about it right now. Like, there was this mist over the field. We weren't supposed to be on the field with St. Aug. Like, they destroyed us in the regular season. And, the Purple Knight faithful are a tremendous crowd. So, this is the first time they're about to have opportunity to go to state championships in 1979. And the best player in Louisiana State history, possibly, and, we got these guys who were sophomores at the time, Jamar Chase, and junior Christian Fulton. So there were some kind of like some no-name guys, kind of, right? Because they were young. They were still ballers and they were still dogs. But I think the big thing about it, and this has always been the case, they were never afraid to play those guys, right? I think that's always given us an edge because, Coach Rod, man, if you're around him, he going to make you know that we going to go to war with anybody, right? And that game was so electric, back and forth. I mean, heavyweight fight. Now, there's this one play I'll never forget. It's 4th and 5. They threw a swing to Lennon. I'm like, man, come on. They throwing a swing on 4th and 5. We about to stop it. And I got a linebacker in the flat, a linebacker in the hook area, and a safety coming down. He jump cuts and makes the linebacker in the flat miss. spins off of the linebacker in a hook and runs over the safety for a first down. And they turn around and look at me, and I went like this. Like, I mean, I don't really have no coaching points for you right there, right? Like, the dude was that good. And to be able to, you know, like, Evan flows of that game was like insane. We scored a touchdown. I think Woodard or Aguilar, the linebacker, big linebacker, Ivan Fitz went around and scored a touchdown. We up. We get a stop. We got the ball with like 1 minute and 10 seconds left, and I'm pretty much hyperventilating on the sideline because we about to win this game and go to a back-to-back state championship. And all I see is Chase 4K hands off outside zone. We're on the right hash. We running it to the left side because coach wanted to give him chance not to run out of bounds. So we ran it to the open field. And I literally see him handing the ball off. And I watch the ball fall before it gets to Keith. And I like, you know, like if I might have had a heart attack at 23, literally on the sideline. So my heart like stopped a beat. But it goes back to Coach Rod, right? Our leader, right? And he would always tell us, like, no matter what happened, if that clock's still going, you got a chance. So guess what? Defense runs out there. Leonard Fournette motions out the backfield. I said, oh, they're not handing it to him with 2 timeouts? Great. Threw it up, got a pick by Andre Tolliver, who went on to play at Arkansas, and we won the game and go into Bird, where we thought we were going to just run over those people, and they were beating us, I think, 19-7 at halftime. We wound up winning the game, or 18-7. We wound up winning the game 22-21. Another unbelievable locker room experience. Coach Rod nearly took my head off throwing a water bottle, but, you know, it's all good. You know, in that heat of that moment, it's anything bound to happen. And we come right back out. We take Steve Dunbar, who's also still playing professional ball in Canada. Super proud of him. Another college degree guy. And Chase 4K, who's also still playing, threw an 85-yard slant to Steve Dunbar to start the half, and we were rolling from there.
Well,
VK, I'll let you ask the last questions.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Going back to that game more than anything else, I was in Lafayette at the Lafayette ULM game, and I kind of enjoyed that. That was my birthday. I wanted to do something different. So I went out there. I was confident, but I wasn't surprised that game was going to be close. I was not surprised because as a St. Aug alumnus, we have seen this too many times. Rematches, and Cortez knows this. It's tough as hell. You gotta somehow find a way to win because that team's coming. They're coming for your head. Gotta survive it. And I'm thinking in the back of my head, I'm hoping they got this. I get a call from George Peppers saying, "Oh, lost." I said, "You gotta be kidding me!" Like, look at the highlights. And I was like, I was in shock. I couldn't even believe it. Couldn't even believe it at all. And my thing was, at the end of the day, when I looked at it, gave a lot of credit to Rummel. But my biggest thing on that was why the ball was not in the hands of Fournette. That was the only thing I was kind of ticked off at. Because I'm like, the fact of the matter was, put the hands in the best player you have on the team. They did it against Curtis, got it done. Why you couldn't do it in the time when you're trying to win a championship? If he would have got stopped, if he'd have got stopped, you know what I'm saying? We go to the next play.
Listen, VK, they had 6'8" Craig Victor, Arizona basketball player out there, man. Throw it up to him. I get it. You know, I'm pretty happy that number 5 didn't get the rock either, too. But you know, as you know, it's really, really hard to beat people twice. It's really hard to do anything twice.
That's correct.
Right?
It is. Absolutely.
And the great thing about what I believe is the greatest district in the state of Louisiana and top 10 district in the United States of America, especially adding the unbelievable program out of Algiers, Edna Carr to it. Like, ain't many better than that, you know. And now, you know, with this select thing, playing everybody twice and all of that, you know, I really, really hope that for the sake of the guys and the sake of the sport, that thing can get worked out and get back together. Because, you know, having to go drive to Ouachita in the quarterfinals and have that crazy game and play Mandeville and have to win 17-14 on a field goal, you don't get those experiences anymore, right? And I don't care, private, public, whatever, it's at the end of the day, it's still ball.
That's right.
Right? You're still playing football. And, you know, some of those teams, you know, I get it. You know, we get into this thing of everybody deserves to be in it, but if you don't earn it, you don't earn it.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
And what happens, man, you miss out on classic games.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
games that just don't happen that often. They only happen in the postseason. And I think that's what we all miss the most about it. And even being a college football coach, you know, we in the state of Louisiana, when you look at those brackets, because you know it's all a part of recruiting too, you kind of map it out who guys have to go through. And let's keep it real, it's not the gauntlet like it used to be.
Right.
But make no mistake, much kudos to the guys who won state championships, you know, as it changed. But, you know, we all know what it used to be and how much excitement it brought to high school football fans.
And the other thing, you know, I think about, you know, everybody talks about the split, right? But I think, and you talk about those matchups, I think the one matchup that you can defend all the time to say that it happened was O'Perry Walker and John Curtis. That's one of the most memorable games I've ever watched as a spectator. Like, you don't get that opportunity anymore. They don't have those games anymore, right? Like, right. I really, really, really hope they can find a way to figure this thing out, because I would love to see the West Monroes and the Dexter, like Coach Scott. I would have loved to see them play other teams, right? But I'm so happy my guy got a championship, man. Gave me a great opportunity at Eric to run a D, and I was a little skeptical at first because he's a defensive guy, but he really, really let me do my thing, with helping me along the way anytime I had questions, and it was a great experience.
It's just like with David Johnson, you know what I'm saying? If you guys would have been still at Eric, it could have been a state championship over there. You know what I'm saying? It's just like David Johnson staying there saying, oh, it could have been a state championship over there. You know, regardless of the fact, Cortez, tell us about your experience the night that Georgia won the national championship. Tell us about your experience that night. You know, all your hard work paying off, getting a national championship.
Surreal. Let me say that. And I mean, we just talked about how it's hard to beat a team twice. You know, I think what happens is when you unfortunately, there was a level of comfort going into the conference championship game, knowing that you were damn near a shoo-in to be in the playoff. And look, you got to give a lot of credit to Nick Saban in Alabama in terms of what they've been able to do over the last however many years, man. It seems like forever. But I think that it was a good reset for our guys going into the playoffs, the first game against Michigan, a team that was highly touted, and just going in there with a dominant mindset and believing that we can win that thing. And when you see it, and even you think about when Stetson Bennett had the interception when we were backed up, and you know there was still this sense of comfort and confidence that we can still pull it off because we had belief in our defense, and we also had belief in a young man that he was going to come back, talking about Stetson, come back and make some plays. And so ultimately at the end of the night, man, it was amazing feeling. You know, needs to say it was a little bit short-lived in my national championship celebration because a week later I was heading to Baton Rouge, man. And, you know, I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely. I'm going to ask you this last question to both you and Cordae. You got, like we mentioned 10 years ago, we fellowship together and did this interview before we brought you back and everything. I brought you in at one time to talk about the story of your mom and everything, the time that she needed blood at the time and everything. But she has made a lot of progress over the years. Now she's been a grandmother for a while and everything. The family has been really progressing through your mother, father, and also your sister. So, you know, how it's been with the Hankton family these last 10 years, it seems like it's been very much a big time blessing for the both of you.
Well, no matter where we are, we find a way to get together and support each other. It just so happens that now on this journey, you know, being closer to home, only one person has to come in town now. That's my brother. You know what I'm saying? Like it's when you holidays, birthdays, whatever it may be, it seems like the family is getting together a lot more. So it's a lot more often. So it becomes full circle. And man, I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be able to embrace these moments and opportunity to spend with loved ones. And so it's truly been a blessing. It's also been a blessing to sit here and watch my brother's growth in his profession. And I mean, like he's always been one to have desire, passion, and he coaches with his heart first and foremost. And you can see it when he's out on the field. So extremely proud of what he has done. And a lot of this has done, and as a big brother, you try to help out as much as you can. But I have to say and give him credit, man, the way that he's gone out and developed relationships and really stand on his 2 feet in this profession. He is solely responsible for his own growth. And so you got to give him a lot of credit for that.
Cordae?
And appreciate that. But, I talked to, you asked him about the championship, right? And I instantly thought about it. Our entire family was there. And you asked about my parents, and to see my dad and mom, the look in their eyes, and to see them, how happy they are, how proud they are of their sons and daughter. It's incredible. It makes everything. It makes the 60-hour week so worth it, right? I don't have kids, but my brother, to see his sons, like, how happy they are when the Tigers or when the Bulldogs won or when the Commodores won, is so gratifying, right? We have our family in the game, but we have, like, my family, man. I remember the days of, I would play Friday night and we would leave my game on Friday night to drive to Arkansas Pine Bluff, to drive to all these games. And people I converse with now, they're like, man, your parents really alternate games and go to Athens or go to Boulder or go to East Lansing or go to Baton Rouge. I'm like, yeah, like, but the crazy part about it, we're so blessed that we don't think that's abnormal. Like, we're actually disappointed when we don't see him. Like, what you mean you're not coming this week? Like what you talking about? You going to hang out? Like, you can't do that. Like, this is your life. You a coach too. You got to come too. So we're not used to that. And that just goes back to, like, my parents, my family, like, our support system is incredible. And we have a lot of people at home who's rooting for us, like a lot of people who support us. And we have this great network of New Orleans coaches who are super, super supportive of each other. And we're very proud of everybody as we continue to grow. But, we talk about these last 10 years and the dude at the bottom of the screen, he's probably one of the most humble people out there, but, he the best. He literally the best. There's a reason why the people in Baton Rouge called him, right? There's a reason why, guys want to play for him. There's a reason why guys who are at other schools are upset that he left, right? I understand all of that. But watching him and we support each other like no ain't, right? So if I got a game at noon, guess what? His game that start at 1, as soon as I get in the locker room, I'm watching his game. And everybody don't understand that because everybody's not as supportive of their family as we are, right? So every Saturday, I'm watching his game. Bus ride, airplane, it doesn't matter. And they're going to know, I'm not hiding that I'm supporting my brother. And vice versa. Like, guess what? Every year I send all 5 of my nephews, 4 and Lil one ain't getting no mail yet, but every year I send them, whatever school I'm at, they're going to have some type of gear or some type of schedule or whatever with that school on it. And they're going to know where Uncle's playing at. And they hear my nephews go, hey, Uncle, that's your school. That's cool as hell. Because they're invested of it, and that's our family. That's how we get on.
It's ironic you say that because I had a girlfriend, and I have a younger brother who coaches high school football. And every Friday, I'm at that school supporting my brother, and she would get mad. Why you gotta go every Friday to a football game because your brother coaching? I said, that's family. That's my brother, and I'm gonna always be there.
You know what's funny, man? I hear you talking about this. So I tell this story all the time. Like, people ask me what's the toughest thing about coaching college football and moving. 1, not seeing your family, and 2, the dating world, right? Because you're always moving, you're working all these hours. And I'll never forget, a young lady asked me, it was her birthday on a Friday night. I was coaching at Everett at the time. She was like, you just can't take off? And I was like, look, let me explain something to you. This is probably not gonna work for you and I, because I just can't take off for the game. Like I can't just take off. Like what you mean?
Wow.
And I tell people that people like you didn't, and I never, I see her now out and about, but I've never talked to her since. Like how and by, but that was about it. After that,
Wow.
You don't even get it.
Right.
It's about loyalty. It's about loyalty. And I understand with him. He plenty of times last season that the school his brother coached for, and give you a hint, it's the team in West Bank. But at the same time, there are plenty of games that we knew was gonna be blowouts, but there was better games. And I said, dog, forget that game. Come with me to this game this weekend, and that's gonna be 10 times better.
Nah, man.
I gotta be there. I said, come on, bro.
Nah, I watched every snap of Georgia versus Austin Peay or whoever it was, right? I watched every snap. I don't care who they playing when he was at Georgia. I didn't get to watch the unbelievable event of LSU and Southern because we played at the same time. Shout out to Coach Eric Dooley, one of our mentors who's doing a tremendous job there. I wish I could have been a part of that. I heard that was an amazing event.
Yes, it was. It was very, very amazing at that, but I want to tell you guys, I'm very proud of the both of you, of what you're doing. Cortez, we played together at St. Aug, you know what I'm saying? And
still 2,600, man. Don't let them
still
talking that Rumble stuff, man.
Oh no!
Yeah,
I
love my brother. I love my brother, and I support him too.
Hey, listen,
you got a Raider, and guess what? You got an Eagle on that side as well. So
the megaphone. First of all, the megaphone on Severn. Let's start there, right? The megaphone's on Severn, and I also had to tell Ryan Clark that one day too. The megaphone is on Severn. I don't care what happened when Hank was there in the 1990s when y'all was, I don't care about none of that. What have you done for me lately?
Hey,
right?
look,
and then
Coach
I had
Cordae,
a conversation with Mr. Shan Williams, who is now the Mr. Big Shot of Zululand. And he was like, man, we used to do this to Rumble. And thankfully for our amazing head coach and the now athletic director at Archbishop Rumble, we have every score and every record from every team we played. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's like 6 and
all of
26, 24 in the last 30 games. So, if that's the record you want to go on, cool.
J. Roth has only lost in his overall career as player and coach 4 losses to St. Aug.
2 for me.
4 losses.
1 as a coach, 1 as a player.
1 as a coach, 1 as a coach. He lost actually 1 as a player, lost about 2 or 3 as a coach.
Yeah, we lost to St. Aug my junior year in high school in 2004. We lost to St. Aug one time against Leonard in 2013. We won every other game against him. He was 1-4, and also not only was he 1-4, we were one of the only teams to hold him under 100 yards. We held him under 100 yards 3 times.
And also that other time, that 4th loss was at Tad Gormley, and that was the first ever loss for J. Roth to St. Aug as a coach at Gormley.
Yeah, I was pretty embarrassed about
the R's
that.
off.
Yes, sir, we did. We took the R's off and then came back and won the state championship. So
wow, took the R's off.
It paid off. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
we took the R's off. Oh, I was a part of that. We got whipped. We thought we were coming off of the state championship, right?
Yeah.
We just went 14-0. Big Chief. We've scored 40 points a game, giving up 14 points a game, and we just thought we was gonna run out there and roll the ball out and win. And we got waxed. He pulled I think we were 2-3 at the time, and we finished 12-3. He took the R's off, and there's a wrap. And I never forget, like, hey, Cordae, you need to come in early today. We taking the R's off. I'm in there with rubbing alcohol to get the glue. You didn't leave that glue after they take the decal off. I'm rubbing the glue off.
Wow.
And he would, and at first I thought he was going to give him back to him at some point. Wow. No, he did give him back to him to put on our helmets for the state championship pictures.
Yeah, but I wanted to also, like I said, I'm proud of both of you guys. Me and Cortez, we go way back.
Appreciate it, man.
And I remember Cordae when he was a little boy, running on the sideline and all that stuff. And I was shocked as I don't know what years later that he wound up being a Raider. And I'm like, and I talked to Cortez, like, Cortez, how How you let this happen? He's supposed to be here.
Hey man, hey, look, hey,
but I'm not hating because he had a good
very beginning of this show. That boy gonna do what he want to.
Exactly.
You know what? It's
Exactly.
all good,
and I can't hate on the man because I think J. Roth, he's a tough coach,
phenomenal,
all around great coach. I got to give him that.
Good guy, also. Good guy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, great.
Absolutely.
I mean, a lot of props to J. Roth, man, because I know he's a great human being first and foremost, and I know Cordae has learned a lot from him. So, definitely gratitude and appreciation to him.
Absolutely. But I appreciate you guys. I appreciate y'all guys, man. Proud of what y'all doing. Keep doing what you're doing. And I continue to pray for your family. I continue to pray for Courtney. I hope things going well with her. I also pray for your mom and everything. Courtney was actually a part of the St. Aug cheerleading squad.
She's a purple lady
as well. So she was a purple lady. So it's all family. So that's why it's amazing how I know all these guys and everything else. You know what I'm saying? And it was touching to with their mom and their dad doing so much for them. And I know, but I'm very, very proud of y'all guys. Keep doing what y'all doing. Hopefully we'll come to an LSU game this year on Cortez. Cordae, Virginia, we would love to come there. We would definitely love to come there.
Whenever you want, man. You're always welcome.
You might have to try to hook us up with some tickets or something. I know
buddy passes.
There you go.
Whenever you're ready, man. Whenever you're ready, just holler.
Hey,
we welcome.
I don't mind spending the money.
Supporters, we come watch us before it's too late. Then we're gonna start charging when it's too late now.
Y'all play FSU this year?
We do not. We play. That would have been great. I would have loved to go against Coach Johnson, but there's an ACC championship in North Carolina where teams 1 and 2 go. So hopefully we'll be playing against that guy in December and come out and check us out in Bank of America Stadium.
All right. Well, let me say this before I get y'all out of here. Coach Cordae, yes, your high school has had the megaphone for the past 14 years.
We lost it like once. We lost it like once in that 14 years. Once.
I mean, I say that because from 06 to 09, Shaw had it, but we getting it back this year, man. It's time. It's long overdue. Megaphone coming back home to Shaw.
Hey, listen. A wise man told me you keep telling yourself something, you start believing it. So just keep saying. Keep saying.
See, Cortez, we ain't got nothing to worry about. We ain't got nothing to worry about, dog. You know what I'm saying? See, Shaw don't want none of the purple right now. You know,
we got y'all for the Jamboree at Shaw this year. Don't even go there.
Oh, wait! I didn't know about that.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Nice.
Hey man, you gotta start a whole nother conversation. I gotta go put these kids to bed. So much love to y'all. Definitely appreciate being on the show.
Definitely.
Love you, little bro. Always
love
good.
You, bro.
Always good to
tell my cousin Logan I say hi, Coach. Tell my cousin Logan Diggs I say hi.
Hey, I got a question. What school you went to?
All right, good night, y'all.
Hey, thank y'all.
He home now. It's all
guys.
good. All right, y'all.
Thank y'all,
guys.
All right, fellas.
All right.
Good one. Thank you.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness. Shots fired. Now you know how it feels, baby. Yes.
What school you went to? What school you went to? Oh, he got me on that one.
You thought y'all got me yesterday. Woo! See, you know how when you stick to your guns, baby. Thank you to the Hankton family who always have my back.
Hey man, that was fun. I enjoyed this interview with the Hanktons, especially when Cortez told us earlier he couldn't make it, then he pops up out of nowhere, man. Right when we start the show, man. That it made it all the better, man.
Please take these clips and put it on Instagram and YouTube. Take the short ones, especially the recruiting ones. Especially they need to hear this.
Make some short clips, put it on Instagram for sure, and then
and on YouTube. And the thing is, when we asked the question, ladies and gentlemen, and people about the rankings and stuff like that, me and Jared talked about this. We're gonna have this in August. That possibility that we're going to have a panel discussion. We're going to have various experts joining us on the show to give you a forum about the rankings and recruiting.
We're gonna do that. Definitely.
And we're going to give you all the knowledge. So all the audiences from other shows, we're going to let you know to join us so to get all this knowledge, because to me, you need it. Because plain and simple, we out here. We doing what we got to do. And plain and simple, you're going to respect the profession and you're going to know how it goes. So you know about it and be like, oh, we're sorry. We didn't realize. Yeah, you got doggone right. You didn't realize it. Stay in your lane.
This
and
is
understand how it goes.
A calm VK rant right here.
Anyway, it's a calm.
I hear you.
That's just how I feel. But in August, we'll have that coming up soon. And we're going to invite other audiences to our show. We want them to come so they can learn.
So DJ,
you can go back to your TV shows.
DJ13, this is your answer to what you said, that I got a stable of cousins. You see it from Chad Boyd himself. Yes, we do. Great bloodline. Yes, without a doubt.
But you're not the bloodline. I'm gonna let that go.
You're right. We're not the bloodline. We're the ultimate bloodline. Forget Roman Reigns and his bloodline. We're the ultimate bloodline.
I don't know if Roman Reigns are like that.
Actually,
they're breaking up anyway. So
I don't care. All right.
But I got nothing but love for y'all and the boys. Y'all. I ain't gonna lie, y'all blessed, bro. Y'all blessed. I wish I had a type of bloodline. I'm just me. You know what I'm saying? I got some cousins that are some athletes, but at the same time, they're making it in the world. But y'all, oh God, y'all got it, bro. I mean, you got a DB brother that was all Metro, who's coaching now, and also a karate champion as much as this man.
Hold on, you got to get his stuff right. All Metro 3 years in a row.
Go ahead.
All state 3 times, really. You think about it, because he made the sports writer his junior year, and then he made the coaches and the sports writer his senior year. And the last All-American from Archbishop Shaw to play at Archbishop Shaw.
Wait, he was an All-American too?
Max Preps All-American.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yes, he was the last one. So
yes, Chad Boyd, you're unbelievable. And then looking at your other cousins on that blood, it's a god doggone good bloodline. Shout out to y'all guys.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. All right. So you heard the Hanktons talk about they don't go by the stars and all that good stuff, and we want to touch on that just a little bit between us. Look, on another show yesterday, somebody said that I'm a sports writer. How I don't say somebody else from this area who's a 4-star, how I don't say he's one of the best players. And I just put who I thought were 4 of the best players in the city. It wasn't being disrespectful to this person, but I think these 4 players were better than this person. That's just me. I saw this guy play in a spring game, and these people were getting him. Yeah, DBs get beat. It happens. I know it does. But the person that was beating him shouldn't have been beating him. Okay? And I've seen the other DBs, and I think they're better. That's just my opinion. And when it comes to these rankings and these stars, I think a lot of people go by it on paper. And for one example, and this is a player from way back in the day, Lionel Bro. Lionel Bro was a 3-star wide receiver, but guess what? That year, 2007 year, I don't think there was a wide receiver better than Lionel Bro in the whole state. Now, yes, they had D'Angelo Benton at Bastrop, a 5-star, but Lionel Bro, my gosh, dude, this dude was unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah, McDonald 35, Joe Dillon, that is correct. Lionel Bro was a dog. James Wright from Bell Chase was a 4-star wide receiver. And no disrespect, but James Wright couldn't run any other route except a go route. He went to LSU. He barely played.
I think James Wright just didn't develop to be the receiver that he was supposed to be. I covered Bell Chase myself. He was a really good receiver, and it's amazing how he made plays and stuff. That was a reason why he was a 4-star receiver, especially his senior year. He had to carry that Bell Chase team almost by himself.
Oh no, no.
No,
Wait,
yes.
his senior year after Blake Mathurin left. Okay, I got you.
Yes.
I got you. Okay,
yes.
I got you.
Because basically they had to mix the two quarterbacks in there between Farron Jones and also I forgot the other quarterback name, but they had to mix them in there. But still, at the same time, it was just the fact that for him to make plays that he made that senior year, for him to carry it, I think there was a reason why he was a 4-star. But he didn't turn out to be the player that he was at LSU. You know what I'm saying? So, you just wish he would have, but he was a good receiver. He really showed it. I think that's interesting. Tyron Johnson. Yes. Tyron Johnson was amazing. And I'm gonna say that now. Tyron Johnson, and I covered him myself, DJ 13. He was unbelievable. We did a couple of Bell Chase and Warren Easton games. You talking about big plays in the clutch, and especially when they finally beat it. And actually, the last time Warren Easton beat Edna Carr around that time, and Tyron Johnson lit them up. So he was really good. It was just the fact you just hoping that Tyron and I'm glad. I think he's in the league right now. I believe. You know what I'm saying?
He's in the league. Yeah, in the league.
Yeah. It's just the fact that he had to transfer a couple of times, and Oklahoma State. And I wish he would have went to Oklahoma State from the jump. He would have really fit over there very, very well. I think he turned out not bad at all. He made the league and all that stuff like that. But
look.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I like the fact how Cordae and Cortez came in here and said we look at football players, and that's what it should be. That's what it should be. Aaron Anderson is at LSU now. He's 5'8", but good God, can the guy be a wide receiver? That's phenomenal. I sat there and told somebody his senior year that he's a 4-star. He should be a 5-star in my opinion, because to me, I hadn't seen nobody that great at the wide receiver position in the state of Louisiana since Jarvis Landry. That's my opinion. Aaron Anderson, my guys, bro, and the call was just a playmaker. He jumps out at you automatically. Everybody know that guy can play football. No matter if he was a 0-star or 4-star, he jumps out at you regardless. And that's why I say the whole politics thing with these ratings and stars is just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And shout out to the Hankton brothers. DJ 13, I ain't trying to, man. I ain't trying to.
We're talking about 2017, DJ 13.
Yeah, we going back a
not
little
20,
bit,
not 2016 when Carr beat. We know your brother beat Carr. We're talking about 2017 when Easton ended the streak at Pan Am. I called the game on Quest City Sports. Trust me, I remember that game. It was the year when Easton went to the Dome. That was the next year. So yes, we talked about that before. We didn't say the year. So we would have said 2016. We've been wrong. That's
Look,
it.
I want to say one more thing before I let you have your say on this particular topic. Because once again, talk about football players, and I'm gonna go back to the 2009 class. Toe Miller at Old Perry Walker didn't have any stars.
Toronto Miller, I remember that. Yes.
And guess who came and got him? Kansas State. Dexter McCoy at Lutcher, safety, didn't have any stars. Tulsa came and got him. So there are players that can play on the football field and get picked up by these universities because they seek a football player, and that's what I like to see. Michael
Lee is another great example from Landry Walker. Not too many schools looked at him, and Tony Hall, who was at Kansas, took a look at him, and then he wound up graduating early, and he wound up being over at Kansas, and he made a huge impact over at Kansas. So there's some players sometimes they some get overlooked that needs to be looked at because you see a lot of talent in them. Like, how in the world they're not being looked at? I don't understand.
Yeah, the truth.
I don't understand that.
It's like Mike Williams for sure. I say
Mike
this.
Williams,
I say Mike Williams, if he didn't tear his ACL his junior year, I think it's a different conversation. But Mike Williams can can play football. He is a good wide receiver. I think with Coach Hank coming back, and Coach Hank is more of a run-oriented head coach, didn't throw as much to Mike Williams. But regardless of that, you saw Mike Williams his sophomore year, he was cutting it up left and right. Mm-hmm. And that's another one. I think Southeastern got a steal by getting Mike Williams.
Yes. I think he's going to make a big impact over Southeastern more than anything else. He's a very good wide receiver. I felt a little sorry for him just a little bit as senior, but he really came through regardless of the fact, especially who was at the quarterback position. But it seemed like he really came alive. And, we didn't see him play. Like your brother kind of went through that a little bit when he was a DB at Shaw. You know what I'm saying?
The 3-star.
Yeah, he went through that. We know a lot of people. Devin Bro is another great example. Devin Bro at Mac 35. And he was hard to look, but then all of a sudden, LSU picked him up.
So let me tell you the story quickly. I'll let you go back about for Chad. So Chad is 5'9", right? 5'9" DB. Mm-hmm. And Chad was with Deron Wilson and Jansen Jackson from the Lake Charles area. Now, no disrespect to Jansen Jackson, but his daddy was a coach, and his daddy knew a lot of people. No disrespect to Jansen Jackson. But Tennessee Pricer, who was over Pelican Preps at the time, did a story on Chad. And he sat there and said in this story, if Chad Boy was 6 feet, he the number one safety in the state, hands down. He has all the intangibles, the footwork, coverage, all that. If he was 6 feet, hands down, number one safety in the state, 5-star, all the big schools come and knock on his door. But because he was 5'9", the big schools, except Ole Miss, came knocking on the door. La Tech, Houston, SMU, Tulsa, Tulane, they all offered Chad. Ole Miss was the only big one that came. But other than that, that's what they said. Chad was 6 feet. And that go to show you once again how they look at certain things in the college world. Oh, he ain't 6 feet. We don't want him. Nick Saban, all his DBs 6 feet. That's what he recruits, 6 feet DBs. But,
And it sounded like your brother got the Cam Johnson treatment more than anything else.
Not being 6 feet.
And
he'll tell you not being 6 feet hurt him from going to the big schools. He'll tell you. He knows.
Yeah, but sometimes, and they look at height, but sometimes height don't mean anything. If the dude can play ball and make plays.
That's right.
If he makes plays and everything else, it don't matter. If the dude 5'8", 5'9", like a Tyron Matthew we talked about. I mean, Tyron was unbelievable, especially we knew how good he can cover. I seen him his 4 years at St. Aug. Then all of a sudden, senior year, he start popping people. Oh, God, I said, man, if somebody don't look at him right now, this fool is going to be unbelievable. And LSU had got a blessing, and it's amazing how his life turned around over the years after what he went through.
Yeah.
So it's an amazing story. I know sooner or later they'll do a movie on it. I wouldn't be surprised. But regardless of the fact, it doesn't really matter. It's like they said, and I'm glad we're gonna have a forum sooner or later about this, because the Hanktons pointed it out. You gotta know how to play ball. You gotta know how to play ball, but not just that. You gotta be coachable, and you gotta have character. If you don't have any of those perceptives and anything else, you're not gonna make it through. You're not gonna make it through. Or you can try to be on the team, but you can be that hard worker. Be that hard worker, but most importantly, go ahead and get your education. Go ahead and finish school. If they tag you on the team, keep you on the team, but you don't hit the field, go get the degree. Take advantage of what's given to you. The ultimate reward is two things. One, you get your degree. And I'm experiencing that right now as we speak. Two, you don't have any debt. You don't have any debt. Because you get the combination of a scholarship, and I think you get some grant money too. Look, tidbit caveat to it, because you can get a little bit of grant money with your scholarship as well. So you get those things and everything, no loans or nothing that when you're in your career, when you get your degree, you ain't got to owe nothing back. And that's why a lot of these students, that's why sometimes it's good to urge those people who leave, if you're in a position and you're making a not bad bit of money and stuff like that, donate. You know what I'm saying? Nothing wrong giving back to the school. Donate. Give a little something. You ain't got to give no $1 million. Give about $100, $50, $10 if you can. Just do what you can to give back to your school that you finished from. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'll do what I can to give back to Nichols when I become alumni.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's hard for me to give to St. Aug. I would love to give, but I'm not in that position right now. But I give. But here's the thing. Also, it ain't just about giving back with money. It's all about giving back in service. See, this is where we lose things when people are losing it here, because money is very, very important. But also, what about the time you give back to the school? You come back, maybe talk to students. You come back, visit the school. You come back, do some work with them, all that stuff. It's about giving back like you give back to the community. So
Yes.
a lot of times it's more than money. So more than anything else, like I said, you be debt free or have your degree. But whatever you choose. But regardless of the fact, man, it's factors is you got to know how to play character, and also are you coachable. That's the biggest thing people got to understand.
That's right. Before we get out of here, so legendary coach Pete Richardson, coached Southern University for a very, 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 very long time, is going into the HBCU Hall of Fame. That's correct, VK?
Yes, he's going to the
HBCU Hall of Fame. He's, to me, deserves it. Deserves to be in the College Football Hall of Fame also. Be honest with you,
I agree.
Next. Yeah,
I agree.
He needs to be in the College Football Hall of Fame. But
if Eddie Robinson's there already, he needs to
be
go.
There. That's right.
Needs to go.
So
Eddie Robinson set the tone more than anything else with what he's done at Grambling. And Southern, they always wished that they would have somebody as legendary as Eddie Robinson.
He's up there.
Guess what? Now, when Southern got
hey DJ, I told him that yesterday, DJ. I told him that yesterday during the show. I said, man, they call it DJ the new VK of 1008. But go ahead, VK.
Hey, bro, I'm gonna say something about that in a minute. But at the same time, Southern wished that they would have somebody legendary as Eddie Robinson, and they did in Pete Richardson. And what he done at Pete Richardson, to me, I don't care what anybody, the greatest coach in Southern University history, the greatest coach. And when I say his consistency was amazing, winning over 78% of his games and winning a record 11 straight against Grambling. Grambling had a win streak of 9 at one time against Southern, and that was broken. So right then and there, we know Eddie's the man, but right behind us, Pete. And Pete proved himself. And I tell you, Eddie gave him a lot of respect, and they had a lot of respect for one another. Yes. Especially at those times. Eddie Robinson knew right then and there when he was retiring, he just told Pete, he passed the torch to him. He said, you do what you got to do. So, I mean, it's amazing how he got that program going, winning, but not just that, all around getting those kids to graduate. It was an over 85 to 90% graduation rate at Southern at the time. So it's really amazing to do. And, is going to the games and Googling. That's all. Hey, I'm gonna tell you something, man. Besides, but congratulations, Pete Richardson and his family. They deserve this. They earn this, and I think he should go to the College Football Hall of Fame after what he's done at Southern University.
Without a doubt, totally agree.
And DJ 13, I want to tell you, man, I appreciate you. I see the comment you put yesterday. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm doing.
Oh, he didn't put the comment. He didn't put the comment.
Well.
BJ was calling DJ the new VK of 1008.
Man, look, but I appreciate that compliment, bro. You know what I'm saying? Somebody else on there said that VK is like broadcasting, doing baseball, talking to people. He's bigger than that 1008, bigger than 1008, which I appreciate that, but it's another entity that we highly support right here on Hash It Out. We
That's
highly
right.
support what they're doing. Big shout out to Cole. Big shout out to Coach Toe and also BJ and what they're doing on their platform more than anything else. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully soon we will have Cole on his show and everything else. But they understand what we do, and they understand. With me, I sometimes have to stay afloat, and I know once in a while they'll have me on and whatever. But my thing is, I gotta keep pushing towards the product that we have. And right now we're going beyond the prep football thing, and that's what we're doing now. We're becoming a great all around show. And hey DJ 13, if you want to help them, that's fine, dude. I'm not give them all the info you can give them, brother. Give them all the info you can give them, man. You know what I'm saying? But I'll try my best to give them something. But we continuing to grow as a great show all around, and we about to blow up. I don't care what anybody say. We about to blow up. So we're gonna continue to keep working. And shout out to Cortez Hankton for that surprise appearance.
Yeah,
We
definitely,
thought
man.
we was not gonna get him tonight, but unexpectedly we got him. And we
Look,
got the Hanktons,
I
man.
felt bad because I got the Virginia logo in the background because I'm thinking we just got Cordae. The Cordae show up. I was like, I can't change it.
You wish you would have split it up, you know what I'm saying?
If I would
But
have known, I would have split up some type of way, some kind of way. I would have split Virginia, LSU, each on each other side, something. But man,
no, but
Cortez
it's
popped up. I was like, nothing I can do about it.
it's cool. But we didn't have LSU guests the last couple weeks.
Yeah,
So it's cool to have that Virginia thing, you know. But it's amazing that what this man is doing.
thank you.
He sings praises to me, but I'm singing praises to him. This guy here is unbelievable. I mean, how he's growing this show, how he's like we talk about it, and sometimes I remind him certain things. I don't mean to be bagging on him, but I just be like, I've been in the industry so long. I just want to make sure stuff is correct for this man, to make sure everything is correct, because I don't want people to on him because he got something wrong. I don't want that for this man. If anybody try to step on this man, I got his back. George Pepper's got his back. There's plenty of people got his back. So, I know sooner or later we're gonna grow into, hopefully a studio or something like that. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna do live remotes. That's coming down the line on this show. It's coming. We're trusting God on that. And I'm telling you, man, we continuing to do our thing. Big shout out to the LSU people out there, all the people in athletics in LSU. Michael Barnett, I hope you're watching. I'm just saying, because we're growing as a show, and we want a lot of these schools, and we appreciate the smaller schools like ULL, like a Tulane, like a Nichols, that give us the respect because we're really coming up.
Thank
And
you, DJ. Thank you,
yes,
DJ. Thank
yes. So but we worked. I'll tell you one thing. I'm proud of this man because we worked together before.
you. Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
this is like out of my three co-hosts, and all three of my co-hosts has been really good co-hosts. They have been really, really good. You know what I'm saying? This man has took it to another level. This man has took it to another level. And I got to give him that because he continued and looked at the vision for himself, and he felt like, hey, how can I do something with wrestling? And I showed him some things with it. He started a wrestling podcast, and he was like, maybe I could do a sports one. And then all of a sudden he calls me in. My mind is on other stuff right now, and my mind's cluttered. I checked out of the podcast thing. You know what I'm saying? I checked out of it because of what the hell I went through. But for hash it out to come, he's like, I need you. I need you. Can you come? And I'm like, okay, fine, I can do it. And I felt the role, what I had to do, and he was like, man, I'm gonna need you to get connections on this, that. I said, let's do this. So it's been great. It's been a joy to be part of this. The beginning stages was the beginning stages. Now we're starting to flourish now, and I'll tell you, this man is working on some new stuff that we're gonna bust out soon, man. It might be football season when we bust it out, but we got some new stuff for you. Because I'm telling you now, oh, you think that YouTube gonna be? Oh, the viewership's gonna be going up and up and up. So if you're riding along, if you're the number, if y'all are day ones, we appreciate it. New people,
Definitely.
LSU folks, come on down, come on ride with us. 1008 people, come on ride with us. All these other
Network, baby.
shows.
Network. Yes.
Network. Come on, ride with us, man. Let's all win. Let's all win. That's more important. And since this weekend is we got to end this show anyway. But since this weekend, two big things: that Juneteenth on Monday, celebrating the Independence Day of African Americans. It's amazing that it's a holiday officially. So happy Juneteenth and happy Father's Day. Most
Definitely.
importantly, happy
sir.
Father's Day to all the dads. Happy Father's Day to my father. Rest in peace. Love you. I appreciate you. And all the fathers that's out there, including the fathers that's struggling, trying to take care of the kids, man.
Definitely. Happy
Continue
Father's
to
Day. Yes.
continue
Happy
to work
Father's
through.
Day. Happy Father's Day to every father in the world. Happy Father's Day to my dad. Thank you so much. And little brother, you have your first Father's Day coming up. Congratulations. Happy Father's Day to you too.
What are y'all plans? What are y'all plans, man? Y'all doing a cookout or something, bro?
I really don't know. I know I'm gonna be laid up somewhere with this leg up somewhere.
Oh, okay. If
So I
y'all was doing a cookout by y'all crib, let me know. Cause I'm like this.
I will definitely let you know.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Because I'm just trying, but I know, I have a 4-year-old, and this is gonna be my fourth year with this
Yeah,
Father's Day thing. I'm getting used to this. It's more of a joy than
of course.
sorrowful now. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Because it used to be kind of sorrowful because my dad's not here. But
Mm-hmm.
at the same time, now
You
it's
being a
more of
father
a,
now is more
yeah, being a
joyful.
father
Yes.
is a joy. It's giving me more of a joy when she's finally come home and be here. So that will be a lot more better than it is. But I love my daughter, and Father's Day, it should be bigger and better more than anything else. Because the moms, no knocking them.
Oh,
They
here you go.
no knocking them.
Oh,
They
oh
see
God.
Mother's Day. I'm saying, I'm not trying to be controversial. Listen. I always believe moms, they're always there for us, and they can get all the flowers, everything. It's cool. I'm good with that. But even my pastor said it on Mother's Day. Can we get the same on Father's Day? And the women don't say anything.
Oh man.
All we ask is for the same type of attention. We're not being babies. We just saying. That's all. It ain't gotta be overwhelming like we do for the moms. Just a little something that be good for us. You know what I'm saying? That'd
Another
be much better.
calm VK rant. Another calm VK rant.
See, oh, that's a big change. The calm DK
Yeah,
rant.
calm now, calm. Yeah. All right, let's end this show, man.
Yes.
So, Coach Cortez Hankton, Coach Cordae Hankton, thank y'all for joining us so much, man. We appreciate it. It's a lot of fun. Thank y'all for joining us. For my co-host VK, thank you, sir. We're definitely back next Wednesday. We got some people from Troy University. What's their names again, VK?
Troy University. We got some. It's gonna be Troy University night. We're gonna have Coach Stephanie Murphy over from Troy University, former Oklahoma Community College women's head coach. She's an assistant coach now for the women's basketball team. And we're going to have the return of Larry Cordero joining us on the show. He has a new position at Troy
Director of
University.
Operations.
Yes. So
Yeah.
he's going to be joining us as well on next Wednesday night. But soon we'll have Brock Hayes joining us as well. So, but we hope to have him soon. Not next week, but he will be joining us soon. But next week it'll be Stephanie Murphy, Larry Cordero.
Very soon, DJ1. That is definitely very soon. We talked to him at the Carl Destrehan spring game. So that's definitely soon. Talk to
And-
Cortez too, and Cortez popped up today. So
And a lot of these coaches are in camps. We're blessed that they're popping in and coming on to the show, you know. And
yes.
Brock was like, "Man, I got camps all over." So
Yep.
it's hard for him right now. But he said when it slows down, he'll let us know, and he's definitely coming on. But we're gonna have those 2 guests next week. We got some lineups for you. I got something to tell you when we get off air, man. Some good news
All right.
off air. Yeah.
Cool deal. DJ, you know you got that, bro. You know you got that. I'll let you know. Definitely. Everybody that tuned in, thank y'all so much. We're back next week. Until then, y'all take care.